Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees with my friend and co-host Sam, and we did not get to talk about the Cardinals series. The Yankees obviously dropped 2 of 3 there, and then most recently, we are recording this after Giancarlo Stanton got his home run robbed by Wyatt Langford, who killed us this weekend. The Yankees dropped 2 of 3 to the Rangers. They are half a game out of the AL East, but they are tied in the loss column with the Orioles, so it's not a true deficit, if that makes sense. It's more like you're down to the division by a technicality. They played 3 straight series against teams that just aren't good, and they lost 3 straight series to teams that just aren't good. And I was hoping that National Series was kind of a one-off thing. Soto was not good in that series, so I was like, all right, happens. Stanton wasn't very good in that series. Like, again, happens. Judge hasn't really done much over the last 2 series. It's just not good. Like, it just doesn't, like, the vibes are off right now. Things don't feel great right now. This would have been a nice game to get. It feels like right now we're just kind of getting buried by our pitching staff, and that's a little concerning. But we're gonna go game by game. It won't just be us screaming our heads off or anything like that. That's just not what's gonna happen. But Sam, I imagine you're not feeling great about the game, but just in general, man, how you doing? How you feeling? Not just Yankees related, man.
I'm good, and I really do apologize. I want to apologize to the audience for missing last weekend. It was Labor Day weekend. The drinks were flowing. I did not make
The
it home
boys were buzzing.
in time for the recording, and I really do apologize to the audience. I want to apologize to our editor, Quentin. I didn't have any clips for you to cut. I'm really sorry, and of course, I'm always sorry to you guys, but I'm happy to be back. But I'm not happy to watch this product of baseball right now because it's just really ugly. And we're just going to kind of flow through it. Right now, it's about an hour past, not even an hour. I think it's like 30 minutes at that point because the last inning of that game was awful and just took forever for no reason. There were I think they got on base like 6 straight times. There were 3 pitching changes. So it literally took 45 minutes for the bottom of the ninth and Wyatt Langford to rob that Stanton home run, which probably would have made me jump out of my seat. But I'm good, man. Could be a little bit better if this team was playing better right now. I'm going to shout out the social media channels. I got to do it every episode. Fireside Yankees on pretty much every platform. I know that Instagram is fireside.yankees. Please go follow us. Play the song shirts if we can play the song again, because right now it doesn't look like we're going to play it for the rest of the year, which is really disappointing. But go follow us on social media. You'll go see my lovely face. You'll see Ryan's lovely face sometimes Alex, sometimes of some of the other cats. So let's dive right into it. Let's talk about game 1 because game 1 was actually a lot of fun. We actually really enjoyed ourselves, Ryan. So I'm going to let you take the floor on that. That was actually a fun game. And I thought that they were going to dominate this series after this game, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, they got an awesome offensive performance from Gleyber Torres, who's really settled into the leadoff spot. The one thing that almost was a vibe killer was Garrett Cole leaving to start early, but it turns out it's just calf cramps. You know what I mean? Just a silly little calf cramp. He just dominated, and then while his calf wasn't working, they kind of had a weird ninth inning where Clay Holmes comes in and he, just didn't look great, and that almost was a precursor to the game too. But the offense clicked. They scored 8 runs. They got a great start from Garrett Cole. It was just an easy, kind of free and easy game. Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run. He's been red hot lately. Chisholm, 2 hits. He's been unreal. He stole 2 bases. He has 33 bases on the season now. He had 32 at the time of that game. Rizzo had an RBI double. It was his second double coming back, in his second game back from the IL. It just kind of felt like, as you mentioned, like, oh yeah, they're here. They're just gonna beat up on Texas. They're gonna take care of business, and they're gonna leave this series in first place. And that, I'm not gonna deviate here from this game yet because I think the big thing for me is Garrett Cole looked great. I think that's so important. Like, Garrett Cole, free and easy, dude. It was an unbelievable start from him.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing Cole. He's kind of getting back into that groove of what he used to be last year. I know they're coming off of the injuries that happened this year. It's kind of rough just because you're trying to get back into that spot. But he's been awesome as of late. And like the calf cramp thing was really scary. And I wasn't necessarily sure what it was, but it was just a cramp. It's really hot out there in Texas. So it's just very minor issue. He's going to throw in Wrigley on Sunday, which is perfectly okay. Gleyber Torres continues to lead, just be awesome out of the leadoff spot. And Yankees have been looking for this real solution at the leadoff spot for the entirety of the season, and Gleyber's really stepped up and been good here. Like you mentioned with Jazz, man, Jazz brings an element of electricity and of speed and of athleticism to this team that I don't think they've seen in a very long time, and I just think it adds another dynamic to this team that makes them so much better and can make them much more dangerous in a playoff series. if that team is playing right. So Jazz has been awesome, playing good defense at third base, like for what it's worth, man. And like just continues to impress this fan base with how much he gives. I'm very scared about, the possibility of potential injury, but I don't even want to talk about that because it is what it is. Plays hard-nosed baseball. He's a good dude. Like, big fan of Jazz. Rizzo, I think, had another extra base hit in this game, which is cool. He had a double again. I think he had doubles back-to-back days because he came back on, was it like Saturday or Sunday or whatever, and like just kind of tore the cover off the ball as far as, up to Monday. But it was a fun win. And like, Soto again had a good day as well. So, but it's just like when I look at this game and the momentum swing that comes after the next 2 days, it gets real ugly. And I really, really, really did not enjoy what I saw last night. And then even what I saw tonight. Tonight was kind of a throwaway game. So let's just take me to game 2 because there's a lot of problems here and there's some issues. There's actually one positive thing that I do want to talk about. 2 positive things, actually. I know you want to talk about Carlos Rodon, but take me to game 2. Let's kind of break some things down because there's a lot of frustration after that one.
Yeah, so, yesterday it was just kind of like, oh, the offense isn't doing anything. Like, we're not scoring runs. Like, what's going on? That kind of game. And then they tie it in the 7th. Verdugo has a go-ahead hit, which he desperately needed that go-ahead hit. Like, he's on borrowed time, if we're being honest. But that's a different conversation. Again, Torres, 2 hits, a double, a walk, just killing it at the top of the lineup. But you get the lead. Josh Chisholm has some big hits. Volpe has that big 2-out RBI single, 2-run knock there. Trevino was doing a job. He brought in an RBI. Like the Yankees score 4 runs. They have a 3-run lead entering the 8th inning. And then a couple of things happen. Tommy Kahnle gets a slow roller, like not one of those like, oh, he threw a bad pitch or whatever, like legitimately executed brilliantly, perfectly. LeMahieu loses the ball in the lights. Now, I know we could harp on LeMahieu's offense, but the guy, like, we do always expect from LeMahieu is excellent defense. He has -3 defensive runs saved at first base this season. He has not been a quality defensive first baseman. It felt like him getting that spot start when you let Cabrera get a spot start the day before Rizzo came back at first, like, and he looked fine at first. I didn't think Cabrera looked like a novice at first. And man, if he makes a defensive error, guess what? He's just DJ LeMahieu at first, right? And offensively, is he a great hitter? No, but he's better, right? Like I know people don't want to know about marginal upgrades, but we are talking like a 30-point gap in WRC plus. But the big blow and the guy you really have to point at for this game, dude, Clay Holmes stunk. Right. And I criticized, the decision to keep him in at a certain point. But, I think what it comes down to is he has to pitch better, man. Like there are the outings where like, it's like, oh, a couple ground balls, dink and dunk, that kind of thing. He walked batters. He didn't have to walk. He got the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in your lineup with a 1-run lead. Like you have to convert that save. He wasn't throwing the slider as hard. He wasn't throwing the slider as much. His sinker, he had no command of the sinker. This is crazy. He threw like 60% sinkers. I think he threw like 20 sinkers in that outing. He threw 31% of them in the strike zone. Like 31%. That's unfathomably low. I mean, that's awful command. I know you just don't have it sometimes, but 11 blown saves is still 11 blown saves. Sam, it just kind of feels like when he gets the ball in the 9th, there hasn't, like, since really June, we haven't really gotten that stretch of like, all right, he's back. And that usually happens with Clay Holmes. Even last year, it's like, okay, bad August, September, it's fine. You know what I mean? 22, really bad July, really weird August. September posting time, he looked fine. He looked like the Clay Holmes we needed him to look like. That turnaround hasn't happened for him yet. And it feels like this team has sunk when Holmes is sunk. It feels like until he turns it around, I don't know if this team can, because they're going to lose these annoying games they shouldn't lose. They're going to blow chances to win baseball games if he can't get it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 11 blown saves is kind of the big thing. It's going to be the big headline, and it has been the big headline, pretty much all over Twitter and all over pretty much every single social media that you can see. Clay Holmes, when Clay Holmes comes into a game, I get very scared. I get very frustrated. I kind of go back to the All-Star game literally this year, and I'm sitting there watching the MLB All-Star game where you want to see your favorite players play, and everybody's so excited. And we saw Soto and Judge hit back-to-back in the All-Star game. It was so cool. And the American League were leading late. And I remember sitting there saying to myself, do not bring in Clay Holmes. Do not bring in Clay Holmes, because the bullpen was deteriorating down. And usually what you see happen is like everybody gets an inning kind of thing. Clay Holmes sitting at the back of that bullpen, and I am sitting there with my buddy, nervous as hell, because Clay Holmes is going to come into the All-Star game as an MLB All-Star. And I am scared for him to come into the game and blow it. Thankfully, he didn't, and the American League won because Emmanuel Clase is a freak. But when Clay Holmes comes into a baseball game, I get really nervous. And I feel like this comes into play really when I feel like there's been so many instances this year where Clay Holmes will come out, he'll have a great outing, right? So like Monday comes out, has a good outing, right? Then you come to the game on Tuesday, falls apart like there's no business. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's a specific statistic that we need to look at for that, but I feel like once he pitches on those back-to-back days, he completely falters. It makes no sense to me. And watching him pitch is very frustrating because he gives up that leadoff single last night, and you know what's coming. Like, you know he's going to blow the game. You're just trying to figure out how it's going to happen. Slider in the dirt, slider in the dirt, slider in the dirt, slider in the dirt. Nothing is working, and you started to see Jose Trevino literally give up on pitches and just go straight to block the ball. He would just go straight to block the ball because it was like, this pitch is literally 10 feet off the plate, Clay. It's not going in my glove whatsoever. So you saw him literally give up on those pitches, and he gives up an absolute tank job to Wyatt Langford. That game last night, going into the ninth inning and getting that fun insurance run in the eighth inning, there's fun insurance runs in the eighth inning from Verdugo, the vibes were high. I felt really good. I was ready to play that song, son. I was ready to go. That thing was on my hip. But once Clay Holmes comes into that game, man, it completely deflates. And there is one actually positive thing that I kind of do want to point out here. And it was actually a sequence in the top of the seventh inning. Okay. I don't know if you recall this, but top of the seventh inning last night, Jazz singles. Jazz and Volpe are hitting back-to-back, right? Jazz singles, and the Yankees hadn't scored a run in the game yet, so they needed to manufacture a run somehow. Jazz singles. Volpe comes up to the plate. Volpe singles. So they're first and second. They get Leclerc to balk. Then it's second and third. You have Jose Trevino at the dish, who's like not your greatest hitter. I'm not expecting Jose Trevino to come out and be this absolute savior for the Yankees and hit a home run. But he can manufacture a run. So now they have second and third with those two absolute freak, dynamic, speedy guys on the base paths. And they manufacture their first run of the game to cut the deficit to 1 with an RBI ground out. And those two athletic guys in the base paths, I think, is going to be massive for this team. And they were able to really work around that. And it made me smile because it was like,
it's
wow.
fun to be on the winning side of the, well, I guess not winning side, but I guess it's good to benefit from good base running because I feel like we get killed on that stuff all the time. And Jazz made that balk happen, like straight up. Yeah. Like I've never seen a guy like Jazz, like just so confident running the bases. In the first game, he steals second with Rizzo at the plate. Dude, he is staring at Rizzo running out. He does not look at second base to the very end. Jonah Heim fires a dart. It is a perfectly placed ball. Doesn't catch Jazz because he's just that good of an athlete. Yeah. And it sucks because like that moment that you mentioned, that balk, it's wiped away by that blown save. This is not, again, I don't want to put this Baltimore game on Clay Holmes because I do understand he got 2 out balls. Gross. But like you think of like the Ben Rice home run against Baltimore. That's like the guy got sent down, granted, right? But like, man, that is one of the coolest moments of the season if we win that game. And we're in first place if we win that game. I mean, we're in first place if he can nail it down against Detroit. We're in first place if we didn't throw 20 sinkers in a row to Masataka Yoshida. So I get it. Some guys don't have it every day, but it feels like as of late, and it feels like Holmes kind of embodies this, like, just not getting the job done. You know what I mean? Just like, and I'm not saying it's an effort thing. He's just not getting the job done.
If you flip half of his blown saves, if you flip like it's the 11 blown saves, you move to 5, you move to 6, you do whatever kind of math you want to do with it. The Yankees are not in this AL East race. The Yankees are fully out in front of the Baltimore Orioles. So you're just sitting here giving games away, and you could have complete demand over this division, but your closer just continues to blow games. And it's really frustrating. And I'm very excited to see what they do moving forward. I know that Boone has mentioned that they're going to look at something else, or maybe a closer by committee. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm excited for the potential of maybe giving Clay Holmes a little bit of rest in this spot because I don't think he has it right now.
I mean, the other thing that's important to note is we've seen them pull Chapman out of the closer spot. I remember somebody referenced 2017. I think he had 3 blown saves, pulled him out of the spot, right? Like, it's not permanent. Just give him a week. The other thing that was weird to me too was, and I ended up posting this on Twitter, Holmes threw the slowest sweepers he's ever thrown in his life against Texas. And that, as you guys know, White Langford bombed one of those 2 sweepers for a grand slam. His slider velo, it was right down the middle, dude. That was the worst slide I've ever seen him throw in my life.
Up and in MLB The Show cheddar, like you're nuking at 450.
Yeah, his slider, so sweepers and sliders are categorized differently. Sliders, these straddle sliders supposed to be firmer. Holmes has gotten his up to 89, 90. Before, his was the lowest average velo on that pitch ever with the Yankees at 85.3. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, if I'm sitting in the dugout and it's like, all right, what's going on here? I don't know. If I see a guy throwing slower than he's ever thrown in his life, I'm pulling him. I'm sounding a red flag, especially considering his breaking balls are his best pitches. His sinker is not a good pitch right now. It's not. It's dipped and stuff. Plus, batting average is way up against it. Slugging numbers are way up against it. Guys are tattooing that pitch when they get it. So I don't know. I feel like it's got to be. I feel like they've got to be a little more aggressive with the hook in that regard, and they've got to be a little more aggressive with swapping guys out of certain roles. It feels like it feels like they're kind of waiting for it to really unravel before they kind of pull the plug on certain guys. And that second, they should have won that second game, because if they lose today, man, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but they lose today and they're in first place and they're game up in the loss column, and the White Sox did us a favor. That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it all right, man. You know what I mean? Annoying loss, but whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if they won yesterday and they lost today, I'm not coming on here upset. I'm not coming on here upset at all, because you're in first place. You're good. You won the series. You're fine. I'm always going to take a sweep. I'm never going to be mad that you swept the team. I'm also never going to be mad when you lose the third game of a 2-game set that you already won. You're already there. You're A-okay. You're fine. Today felt like a punt game. It was gross. But back to Clay, and I hate to pull the Boone card. I hate to pull the Boone card because being oh, everything's on the manager and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like a lot of that stuff is unjust. But last night I found really interesting because I don't know if you saw, but they had Luke Weaver up last night. They had Luke, when Clay Holmes loaded the bases, they had Luke Weaver up last night, and Boone was ready to pull that plug. I don't necessarily know if it was the right move. I don't, to put Luke Weaver into that position and bases loaded, 1 out. We were what are you going to do here? Right. It's kind of tough. But I think you just try something else. Maybe Luke Weaver could have gotten out of that spot, and we're not screaming about Clay today. I just think, dabble into something. And the bullpen, not a lot of confidence in a lot of guys right now. Canely still have a ton of confidence. And I think that's maybe a guy that you can probably toss into that role and be okay. And I think maybe a guy like Jake Cousins could fill into that role and be okay. But they have to do something about that closer role, because they're literally, for them to have legitimate World Series aspirations and to be a club that wants to go out there and win a World Series championship this year, having a closer like that isn't going to work, because you get that in a game 7, dude, you're done. You're cooked. You lost that series. It's not going to work.
Yeah, you need to just get something. You just need to change it up a little bit and
just flip it, man.
Yeah, and on a positive side on the pitching front, Rodon was unreal. He had the high. I think he either matched or set his highest total for strikeouts in a game. I think he set, right. Yeah, he set his highest total for strikeouts. Over his last 8 starts, he has a 3.1. If Fangraphs would like to load for me here, guess not. But anyways, his whiff rate over his last 8 starts is 0.2% lower than it was in 21 and 22. Those are the years that made him $162 million. Just undoubtedly so. His chase rate is actually higher. His ability to limit his hard hit rate is 1% better in terms of it's 1% less than it was in 21-22. He has a 3.18 ERA over those starts. Also, when he pitches, he's usually giving you some innings. It's not like he's getting like he's had some struggles getting through like 5 or 6 at times when he really gets roughed up. But he can wear a start. If he's getting smoked, he can still wear it. And I think that's important, at least in the context of the regular season. He's missing bats. And I think that's the important thing. I think when he was pitching well, he wasn't missing enough bats. When he was pitching poorly, he was finally missing bats, but he was pitching poorly, so it didn't really matter. Now he's kind of doing both. I mean, Sam, how confident, like, what's your confidence meter with him getting a playoff start? And would you give Carlos Rodon a playoff start?
I mean, we've talked about it on this show. I mean, this is now the 3rd show in a row that we're talking about him and the consistency thing. And like, we're again on the same spectrum of like, the first show that we had, it was like, okay, this is great. Like, let me see this again. Second show, it was like, okay, this is bad again. Please get back to being good. And now we're kind of in the same spot that we were just last week. And it's like, it was really refreshing to see him come out last night and pitch as well as he did on the back of what Garrett Cole did the night before. Because if you look at that and you get 2 performances like that in a game 1 and a game 2 in an ALDS, you're livid, dude. Like, you're smiling. You feel confident that your baseball team is going to win that series. And if he can pitch like that in a playoff series, I'm A-okay. I'm fine with that. If you can go like that down the stretch, I'm fine with that. However, these gross rough-up starts cannot happen, and these weird blips cannot happen. But it was really fun to see last night because it was like just a really gutsy, ballsy performance. 11 strikeouts, and he was dominating hitters. That slider looked unhittable last night, son. I really enjoyed that start a lot, man. And, the confidence level right now, if I were to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, him being in a playoff start, I go like 7, 5, 8. I think because of the figure, because of the money, he's going to get a playoff start. Like, he's going to be locked into that rotation. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I know that you guys sometimes talk about him being in like a closer role or like a reliever role or something like that in the playoffs. That's not happening. He's making too much money to be in that spot. He's getting a playoff start. It's going to happen. However, then you translate that to how do you feel about him walking in? And I give it like a 7.5 out of 8 because I still think that at his peak, like he was last night, he can give you something like that. And I would fully take that in a playoff start, and it was really pretty to see. So, yeah, I would say probably pretty confident, right?
Yeah, I think 7 to 7.5. That's kind of where I'm at, too. There's, as you mentioned, the occasional, like, oh, my God, this is the worst I've ever seen. But I will say he does it early, so you kind of know. You know what I mean? Like, when Rodon's going to get roughed
off rip. Yeah.
Right. So I feel like if you're Aaron Boone, you can pull that plug in the postseason pretty fast. So I almost respect that. Not like I respect that he's getting when he gets smoked. I respect that I know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Yeah. It's no like 5 walks and like Ben don't break for the first 2 innings and then get smoked in the third. It's like, yeah, he gets beat up in the first, beat up in the second, and then he magically figures out that he's a $162 million pitcher. It's the strangest thing ever. And then I also want to point out with Rodon, like, he misses bats. So I think that's going to be important come October. Missing bats is important. Missing bats, I'm going to stress the importance of missing bats. So, yeah, and another thing that I think is really important from this series and kind of this third game as a whole, it just kind of feels like they're not taking advantage, right? Like they're playing bad teams. They're playing teams they got to beat. And it's like, dude, come on. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, I'm not asking for them to rip 17 of 19. I'm not asking them to set the AL win streak record. I'm asking them to just do the job. Do a job. Do a job is all you need to do to win this division. If you did a job over the last 3 months, division's in hand. Division's in hand. This team had an insane start. They should be better than this. They picked it up a little bit in early August and late July. I was like, okay, they're back. That kind of thing. It hasn't been that way. The course, they're falling off course again. Now they've lost 3 straight series. Now we're back to where we were, where it felt like in mid-July, where it's like, all right, the Orioles are in first place. They're not playing well, but we're not playing well either. It's that kind of thing. So, look, Stroman didn't pitch well. That's kind of that didn't help. The offense didn't do anything until the 9th inning when Trent Grisham and Duke Ellis turned into Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. That Trent Grisham grand slam was so funny. Like, Sam and I are literally like sitting around and we're just like waiting for the game to end, and Trent Grisham hits a grand slam. We're just like, are we in this thing? And then Stanton hits that ball. And Wyatt Langford, I really don't think I like Wyatt Langford because for right now, I'm sure I'll like him tomorrow. He's a great young player. But wow, he really killed us. The bullpen, Mark Leonard Jr. really, it's just, I feel bad for the guy. We brought him in. I thought he was going to help us. probably pitched us out of that game. Him and Ron both basically pitched us out of that game. Like, it was not a competitive game at that point.
What's new?
Yeah, I mean, Ron is like, it's
Ron,
so strange. I'm not sure I'm sorry. I just kind of, it sucks to have to point it out. We don't necessarily enjoy the whole, this guy isn't playing well, this guy's ERA's 25, this guy's, that guy stink. Like, it's not fun. There's no fun or joy in this. I can't imagine what it's like to not perform. I can't imagine what it's like to not perform at your job. I've been a bad baseball player. I've written bad articles. I've posted bad videos. Like, I know what it's like to do something that sucks. It doesn't feel good. I don't have a million people watching, thankfully. Dude, the one thing that really frustrated me, we're down 5 runs, and Verdugo's walking out the box, basically. That really rubbed me the wrong way. And then after the game, I don't know if you saw this quote, and I was trying to find a way to properly segue to this, and I just couldn't. Boone was like, he's beat up. He's playing his ass off. He picks his spots. You see him beat it out when he needs to. He beats out
Verdugo?
Yeah, talking about Verdugo. And like, Jason Dominguez went 2 for 5 with a home run today. He didn't hit a single ball below 91 miles an hour. I don't know what else he has to do. Like, if you're not throwing your best 26 guys on your roster in September with a division to win, and you're trying to tell me that the guy who's walking out of the box is playing his tail off, you know what I mean? Like, I can't get behind that. I really can't. I don't really care about what Boone says after post games. Like, when he's like, yeah, this guy's going to turn the corner. I'm like, of course he's going to say that. He's not going to say, yeah, DJ LeMahieu looks like dog crap out there. Like, yeah, of course he's not going to say that. You shouldn't say that. And I get that he's not going to dog Verdugo publicly. I have no problem with that. But like, I'm kind of tired of like begging this team to bring up their best left. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. I think we were okay with like maybe splitting paying time, but I can't do this, man.
Yeah, it's been a very like common occurrence. Like, I know that Boone's not going to come out and criticize his guys. I mean, like, you saw what he was saying about Donaldson last year. Like, he didn't have a bad word to say about Donaldson last year, or even the year before that. And like, he knows how bad Donaldson was. Like, these players are like, these managers are not blind to that. Nobody was blind to how bad Joey Gallo was as a Yankee. Like, that's a legitimate thing, but like, I don't expect them to come out and say that. I will play the smallest bit of devil's advocate with the Dominguez thing. And I haven't really like necessarily been able to properly talk about this just because I haven't been on, like, we couldn't even record Sunday. And I do like kind of want to talk about it and just kind of see how you feel about this. Right. So, we want Dominguez up. That's kind of a real thing. Like I don't think anybody's going to disagree with us when we say that Jason Dominguez should be on this baseball team right now. However, I somewhat in the slightest way understand why they're not making a play. And it doesn't have to do with any of the rules things. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with any of that. What it has to do with is the human to human perspective, and the playtime thing. So they basically said that they wanted to give Dominguez as much run as possible in AAA. And then when he comes up, they want to give him as much run as possible in the big leagues instead of just stashing him on the bench and having him do nothing, right? And that's perfectly okay. That's fine. Alex Verdugo, I think, has been a pretty solid name in that clubhouse. I think a lot of the guys like him. I don't think anybody wants to see him sit down. I think Boone likes him a lot. I don't think that there's going to be any change in that aspect because of that. And I don't think that they want to bring up a 20, 21-year-old kid in the middle of a division race and pretty much say, okay, man, this is all on you now. So I understand from a pressure perspective and from a human element why Jason Dominguez isn't up here and why he hasn't stripped Verdugo of that spot. And like, that puts a ton of pressure on Dominguez once he comes up and essentially takes the veteran who's, been around the league and has a ton of experience and, has been in the starting lineup the entire year and has this rapport with Judge and Soto, that he gets pulled and they put this young kid in there. And if Dominguez comes up and doesn't play well, they're going to dunk on him. And Doogie's not going to want to come back and then play left field because it's like, oh, like, what do you know? The kid came up and played awfully. Like, why do you want to come back to me now? Kind of thing. So that is the one very, very minuscule reason why I can understand why Jason Dominguez isn't on the team and why he isn't with the roster. And it kind of calls back to what you were talking about with Clay Holmes. And they're like, they don't want to change anything. And they just kind of think that everything is, very straightforward. It's very like straight and narrow. Like they don't need to make any adjustments whatsoever. Clay Holmes can be the closer for the rest of eternity. And we don't need to make any plays because we're very smart and we're very awesome and we're the best. Alex Verdugo is our left fielder because we're awesome and we're smart and we're great. And this kid's, going to win Rookie of the Year in 2029 or whatever. But like, I somewhat understand that. Somewhat in the slightest bit. I want to get your like rebuttal thoughts on that because like I want him up, but like I sort of in the slightest way understand it.
So my pushback would be, if it's not Dominguez, like, I'll take what I can get from Trent Grisham then, because he can play center field. I'll take what I can. Like, where I'm at is that if I can't get a guy in September to run out the box, in September, big game, you have to win every game in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know?
Say that again?
Like, I can't get him to run out the, did I say something really bad?
No, you said something great.
No, like I gotta get him locked in.
It's right. It's right. What?
It's right in front. It's right in front of us.
You said it's right in front of him.
I think it's right in front of him.
You said it's right in front of him. Dude, you said the thing, bro.
I think I actually really don't hate when Aaron Boone says it because I think he's right. This team can go out and get theirs. They don't. They just don't do it.
No.
It's just frustrating because like this is a guy who, by all offensive benchmarks, by all WAR metrics, whatever you want to look at, has not done a job this year.
No.
He has been disappointing. And I like if Alex were going to 100 WRC plus, I'd be like, dude, this guy rocks. Like, it's a great defensive player, 7-hitter on this team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what I envisioned for Alex Verdugo. Dude, I need more. I need some. I expected a dog.
I'm sorry, but then so my counterpoint to my own argument is, and I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's an awesome dude, and he's probably a really nice guy, and I'd like to meet him someday. But like, who is Duke Ellis, and why is he on the roster?
Yeah.
Who is Duke Ellis, and why is he on the roster? Like, instead of Jason Dominguez, your generational prospect, who should be up with the big league team, got run last year. At that point, like, what was the point of last year? What was the point of last year? If you wanted to bring them up, if you wanted to give these guys all run, then like, what was the point of bringing up Jason Dominguez then?
Would he have made the team in spring training if he didn't get hurt? And the answer is yes.
I think that's a good question because we kind of talked about it early, and like, I still think the answer would be no.
I think it would have depended on how he played. Like if he stayed hot in September, they could save money. Like they wouldn't have to have like.
If you pulled a Volpe,
yeah.
Or no. So here's the thing. So if he was, so you're saying if he didn't get hurt last year,
right? If he didn't tear his UCL last year and he just kept, and I'm not saying he hit 4 home runs every 8 games, but like he like finished the year with like a 125 WRC plus,
right?
And, like decent contact rates.
So here's what happens, right? He's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Grisham's not in that trade.
He might have been just as like because I think he was only in the trade because of the money. Like the Padres want to dump as much money as possible.
So there's that, but then like the Yankees don't trade for Verdugo.
Correct.
Doesn't happen. So my answer would be yes. I think that him doing what he did and like, he could have came out and struggled for the rest of that period that he was up last year. I still think that they would have had full confidence in him to run out this year and be their everyday guy.
I mean, they basically handed Wells the job. They didn't. They did not dilly dally. Wells
did a great job, and he did. Yeah. And he's been awesome. You know what I mean? He's this team's cleanup hitter for crying out loud. Like
he's damn good at it.
I think that 100%. I think 100% because like they would have had that confidence in him, and like he came out in spring last year and was awesome.
Yeah,
like in spring last year, and that was a year removed from this year. So
I will say this:
you would have been awesome.
As like. He made our jobs a lot easier. If you catch he made our jobs a lot easier during spring training. That man rocked.
So for the people listening at home, 2023 Yankees life was awful, and I understand that it was awful from a fan's perspective, right? And it sucks, okay, but it's never worse than when you're on the content side of things, and your literal job is to post content. and there's nothing happening. When this team was awful last year and was running out some of the worst lineups that I've ever seen in my life, and Jake Bowers and Billy McKinney and Willie Calhoun in those days, oh my God, what a blast that was.
Yeah.
We had nothing to post because they were losing all the time and it gets boring. And then when Jason Dominguez and Austin Wells and Oswald Peraza come up, it gave us something to post about and it gave us something to talk about. And it rejuvenated Fireside Yankees in the middle of September when we were out of a playoff race. And it was a blast. So I will never, ever, ever be ungrateful for what Jason Dominguez and Austin Wells did for me from September 2023 to the very beginning of October 2023, because it was a magical time that literally nothing was going on in one of the worst periods of Yankee baseball.
And I think also what's important to note is that, like, when we talk about left field, when we talk about promotions and all that stuff, like, dude, this is kind of the way I view it. We kind of know what Alex Verdugo is, right? I don't think it's getting better from this point forward. Like, maybe he runs like a 100 WRC plus the rest of the year, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be performance. You know what I mean? I don't know what Jason Dominguez is. For better or worse, I don't know what Jason Dominguez is. Also, I understand, like, if you ice Verdugo out, maybe he mentally checks out, but like, he's a grown man. You know what I mean? He's a grown man. He's an adult. You know what I mean? He's an adult. This is a business. He knows this is a business. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude.
Okay, listen. All right, hear me out here. I just figured it out, and I'm gonna dispel my entire argument. So here's what the Yankees could do, right? So they bring up J-Dom. Say J-Dom doesn't play well. Okay, you run J-Dom for the rest of the month, and J-Dom hits like 8th or 9th for you, and that's fine. And like, if he plays well, then you move him up, right? And that's A-okay, whatever, right? But if he's not, then you're like, well, that kind of stinks. I'll see you next year, kind of thing, right? Like, you don't look like you're ready. Verdugo doesn't have to become a factor on this team, because then at that point, the Yankees are going to make playoffs. I think that's kind of like
they're 10 games up on Boston.
That's another thing. They're not going to make playoffs. Like, they're going to be in the playoffs. However, you can then walk into a playoff series. You can put Verdugo on the bench and say, okay, we're going to run Aaron Judge out in left field. Juan, you're going to play right. Trent Grisham, you're going to be the everyday center fielder. And Stanton, we're in the playoffs. You're going to play every day. Yeah. So you could make that flip, and it would be A-okay.
Trent Grisham came off the bench for a pinch hit appearance in a blowout game and hit a grand slam. Like, I don't like, look, it's a smaller sample size, but he does have a higher WRC plus than Alex Verdugo this year. Like, I don't mean to, again, like, it sucks to like dog on one guy, because I would argue he's not even the worst player on this team. LeMahieu's the worst player on the team. Like, he is. That's not even close, right? Like, there are two different tiers of like detriments offensively. And defensively, Verdugo's a plus defensive left fielder. I don't think LeMahieu's a plus defensive first baseman, and I don't need a third baseman. I have Jazz, and then I have Birdie coming on the way back. He went 4-4 today in his rehab game. I have Cabrera, who can pick it at third. Like, I do not need another third baseman.
No,
I don't. I do not at all. But like, man, like, it just feels weird that they don't try anything different in left field. It feels so weird that, like, ebbs and flows, they haven't tried anything else. Ups and downs, even when Grisham got hot, it's weird they didn't try anything else. It's weird they haven't tried to shake it up. It feels so uncharacteristically like the Yankees, because people kind of assume the Yankees are just this team that's like inactive. They don't make moves, whatever it may be. Donaldson got phantom 60-day IL basically, and then they cut him. Hicks got cut when he started heating up in the middle of May in Cincinnati out of nowhere. Like, that was the most random DFA ever. A deserved one. I'm not trying to say how poor Aaron Hicks got DFA. Like, no, he deserved to get DFA. He was playing awful. Just out of nowhere. They forced A-Rod out of the door in 2016. They were like, yo, we got a young core here. I know you're 4 home runs away from 700, which is a huge milestone, but we want to bring up Aaron Judge. You got to go. That guy's a 2-time MVP for the New York Yankees, 2009 World Series champion, a hero in that postseason run. Granted, he did sue the team, so, I get why he's not in Monument Park. I get it. Not going to lie. But, if we're talking about guys who, have a little cachet here, A-Rod ranks higher on that list than Alex Verdugo. I don't think that's necessarily a debate. Verdugo isn't owed any money for next year as a free agent. I'm not saying I cut Verdugo, by the way. I think I'm firmly against cutting Verdugo, because
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You cannot lose outfield depth. I don't.
I'm with you on that.
Right, like when people are like, "Oh, DFA him," it's like, well, hold on.
Nah,
Like, what if Jason gets hurt? What do you do? You know what I mean?
We could use him. Like
Right.
he could be of use.
Like if Jason Dominguez came up and got hit with a foul ball, God forbid.
Yeah,
what do you do?
right,
Like, you're just out
exactly.
of luck.
You put Verdugo out there, but
Right.
like that, like to that point, like Verdugo could stay on the roster. Perfectly okay with that. I don't think he loses his job. However, somebody should lose their job, and like I don't mean that like a disrespectful tone. This dude is a multimillionaire. I mean, like DJ LeMahieu. Like, what use?
Yeah, he's got to go.
What use do the Yankees have for DJ LeMahieu once like even right now, what is DJ LeMahieu doing on the roster?
Because I trust Cabrera more at first.
There are, that's what I'm saying. There are other people that can fill his role. Like he's just kind of there. He's literally just kind of there and fills in because like he's one of the guys. You know what I mean? He was a runner-up in MVP in the COVID season. You know, he was really fun in 2019. It's 5 years ago, man. It's way past that at this point. And like once you bring a guy like where does John Birdie fit into that mix? I have more faith in John Birdie right now to do a better job anywhere than what DJ LeMahieu could give you. So when John Birdie enters that mix, is DJ LeMahieu going to get DFA? Probably not. I wouldn't think so this late. I feel like that would have already happened.
Now, I will say this. The only way they can bring back Birdie is they're going to option Ellis for Birdie. I think that's so obviously going to happen.
Sure. Yeah,
like that's 100%. Everyone's like, oh, what are they going to, they're going to, that's the most obvious move ever. If they want to bring up Jason.
They also have a nut job amount of bullpen arms up there right now.
They do, but you're always going to have 14. They're going to roster 14 pitchers because they can.
Yeah,
they just are. And Hamilton, he just threw in AAA. He looked great. He hit 98 a few times. Hamilton's somebody I'm really excited about. Trevino, I don't know how Trevino's going to factor.
That's like Bickford. Like Bickford will probably go back down.
Bickford, Meza for Hamilton, Trevino. That's how I view it.
Oh, maybe Ron.
Oh, right. Ron will go down because they'll go Ron, Bickford.
Maybe Ron, but like, I don't know. We talked about this, dude. Like, I don't know what kind of staying power Tim Meza has on the roster.
Yeah, Tim Hill. Okay, Tim Hill. I will say this weekend.
Tim Hill certified on
the roster.
Tim Hill. Rocks. Tim Hill rocks.
Dude, I get patriotic when he's on the mound. He sees red on the mound. He is white. He makes hitters turn blue. Like he's American, man. He's an American patriot. He's a hero on this team, man. 68,
bro.
Dude, he has a better ERA than Tommy Canley, a better ground ball rate than Clay Holmes, a better FIP than Jake Cousins. This guy's a dog. Like he cannot miss bats. He will strike out absolutely nobody. There's nobody on planet Earth who's striking out against this man. But dude, he's been good. He's been a really good Yankee. Like you can't cut him. Like this isn't a Michael Tonkin situation where it's like Michael Tonkin had a good run, then pitched really poorly, and then got cut.
No, but I think Meza has that.
Meza, Bickford, and Ron can all go down.
Like Meza,
and he has options.
Meza is an option, right?
Yes. Yeah. Him and Ron have options. They don't have to be cut.
I think he'll probably go. And like I feel like the most sense. I feel like you give Trevino probably a spot on the big league roster into the postseason just because like of the veteran experience. Mm-hmm. And he's been around and like he's kind of been hanging out down there for a while.
He at least deserves a chance to earn a spot. Like
I think that's fun. Like he'll be up with the team at some point. I wanted to ask you about Efros. I didn't get to watch him this weekend, but I did get to watch him tonight. I kind of want to ask you about how you think he's throwing, how you think he looks, compare him to 22 when he came over, because he was pretty fun when he came over in 22. But like I didn't necessarily get that full effect in a 2-8 ball game that he came into tonight. So
yeah, he threw a really bad sweeper to Walker and against St. Louis. That was not a great outing. He got hit pretty hard. It wasn't like one of those one mistake pitch and then you just kind of like look past it.
He gave up 3.
Right. He got hit pretty. Even the outs were pretty loud. That was not a good outing for Scott Efros. But tonight he turned it on. He looked sharp. Fastballs getting whiffs up in the zone, which is not what you expect from Scott Efros, but he did it, and I was very happy to see it. Slider was working. Like he looked good. Like I was very encouraged. Velo is on the 4-seamer is 0.4 miles an hour down. That's negligible. Sinker, the sinker wasn't being thrown as hard. That's, a little something to look at, but I'm not too concerned. Slider was moving. Yeah, like it's one of those things where like, okay, this is a good outing for Efros. Put it in the memory bank, keep it, hold on to it, hang on to it, hope that it keeps rolling, hope that he gets on a roll, because dude, when he's locating up in the zone and throwing those sliders down away, he's nasty. His stuff
He's fun. He's fun piece, dude. He's fun piece.
Yeah, he's fun.
I was very excited for him to come back just because we kind of got a little taste of what he could be in 22 when he came over, and he was a lot of fun. And then went down, and we obviously haven't seen him in a while, but
he can close games if needed. He's comfortable in those situations if he pitches down the stretch.
The only thing that scares me about him closing games is velo, is just of like how slow he throws. I mean, like he can really take it down. Like that slider gets down to 79, that sinker's up at like 91-ish. But like that's the only thing that really scares me about him being in that closer role too. But there's a lot of fun pieces in the bullpen that I think could work out in October and be fun. One thing that I do want to tap on, and it kind of sucks, man. I really hate talking about this, and like it makes me sad because this isn't a guy that I should be disrespecting. But Aaron Judge had a bad week, man. Aaron Judge had a bad week, and like didn't hit any home runs, and like maybe we're spoiled for a player to hit under 200 in a week stretch. But like when your best hitter, your ungodly hitter isn't hitting, it becomes very hard to win baseball games. So, which sucks. And like he had like a couple knocks here and there. And like I'm not dunking on a guy at all. At all. But like just a weird week from Aaron Judge.
If he was decent, we win both of these series, I think.
100%.
And I think that's the sad part. That's like the damn.
100%.
Granted, I'm encouraged the offense can still put up runs even when he's not killing it. Like that's somewhat encouraging. Like they would be getting blanked if Aaron Judge wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
The pitching, we're being honest, the pitching just didn't do enough this weekend. Or this week. Like it just wasn't good enough. Like it just wasn't. 14 runs for the Cardinals, bro. Like I can't imagine that.
I mean, the offense was able to do their job yesterday after they got past the Heen dog. You know what I mean? Like that was unbelievable. I mean, they were able to get their job done. I mean, like tonight was just garbage time runs. Like I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like I'm not really factoring tonight into like the 6 runs that they got tonight. I'm not calling that a 6-run game. I'm calling that a 2-run game because Trent Grisham hit a grand slam, Chris Paul 3. Like it's just not. I'm not factoring that in. But Monday runs, like that's fine. Even Sunday, they scored 7 runs. They just gave up 14. So it's not what you want to see. But like they're able to manufacture runs, and that's A-okay. And that kind of stuff, what I will say is like it works in the playoffs. It works in the playoffs because the Yankees get really strikeout happy sometimes. And it's not really been that way of late, which is kind of fun because that's really how the Yankees just get blanked in the playoffs. But if they can, just make contact, get on base, work walks, do that kind of stuff, it works well in the playoffs. So when you're not relying on that big fly home run, when your big slugger isn't hitting, you're still able to win some baseball games. You know what I mean?
They find ways to score. They're just very loaded offensively. They are very loaded. I have no, and it's weird because like we talk about like left field Dominguez, and it's just like I think what makes me more encouraged, like if the Yankees couldn't hit, not to say that I would be less like bring up Dominguez, but I'd be less like this is going to really help the team. I'd be more like we are really going to rely on a 21-year-old to help us, aren't we? With this team, I'm more like, could you imagine what they are if Dominguez is a 100 WRC plus hitter?
You're just putting a better hitter in a spot. Like look at the 22 team down the back half, right? That team couldn't hit. Nobody on that team could hit except for Aaron Judge. Nobody could hit. Like
dude, Oswaldo Cabrera became like one of their better hitters down the stretch.
Yeah, I think he was literally like their second best hitter down the stretch.
I don't think you're exaggerating.
It was like a 146 WRC plus. Like
I think it was like him and Rizzo. I will say Rizzo that was like really good. I've thought about this. Like,
dude.
Could you imagine if you could import 22 Rizzo into like if you could just like download him and just like he was so good that
That'd
year.
Be so lit. But like I've like as far as the past, I don't know, 4 years, this is probably the best lineup they've had.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So like it's just the pitching that's lagged.
This is the worst bullpen they've had in like a very long time.
I mean it's just they stop. There's really no big names up in there now. Now it's really like Matt Blake's projects in that bullpen.
It's literally like Matt Blake just find a way to make this work. And look, I hear people say like, oh, well, I guess I can't rely on Matt Blake to be the whisperer. It's like, well, okay, I can't rely on Matt Blake to turn literal AAA pitchers into a top 5 bullpen.
Right.
Like, there is a threshold at which like you're just being insane if you expect more from the pitcher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that Tim Hill is throwing well for us and Jake Cousins is one of our best relievers. Like, I just want that statement to really settle for people. Tim Hill and Jake Cousins are 2 of our best relievers. And
That's
it's
wild.
not like a joke. Like they've actually been very good for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Both the White Sox handed us both of them. Both of them. So yeah,
so Cousins is cousin. Pretty good hurler.
You like that? You like that?
Pretty good hurler. My Lord, I'm so excited to watch football.
Big Kirko, Big Kirko's got you. Big Kirko's got you moved.
Dude, I'm just no. It's them. It is this team right here. That big old NY on their hats, dude.
The Giants. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, the Giants. They got you moving. No, I'm joking.
Hell no. Not that team. I don't support that team, dude.
You gotta get Daniel Jones had to get that off the road, bro. He gotta get
off the road. Dude, I'm telling you right now, these Yankees make me so excited for Thursday Night Football. They make me so excited for Thursday Night Football. By the way, shameless plug. Fireside Bets. Parlays all weekend this weekend. Go follow Fireside Bets. I'm dropping nuclears. And they're literally called nuclears.
And I wanted to ask you this.
Bonanzas, all that kind of stuff.
Thursday night, the Yankees, I don't think they're playing Thursday night, are they?
No, we're off, man. We're off.
So they're not playing Thursday night. Thursday night football. First game of the season. Will the boys be buzzing if you're catching my drift? Because I'm not saying I'll be buzzing, but I'll certainly be happy that night.
You know what, man? Probably because the way the schedule works out is Fireside Bets doesn't come into effect until Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Friday is like a gap day. So, like, the way it works
and they play in the afternoon that day. So I have all night to really work, which is nice.
Saturday?
Yeah, Friday. Because in Chicago, they play in the afternoon on Friday. Yeah, we play like 2 that day.
So fun. It's so fun.
Weird.
I'm sorry, I love that. Like,
I know it because it means I have my dinner schedule free. Like
you
know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
To get to enjoy my little dinner. You know what I mean? My brother's birthday today, so like I want to enjoy dinner Saturday with him.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, my brother's big 2-2. Big 2-2, my dog. It's my brother.
Yeah. So yes, because Fireside Bets comes into effect. So like today was Fireside Bets Day because tomorrow's Thursday, do Thursday stuff. Like that video drops at 9 a.m. There's a Friday game this week. So like tomorrow, the Friday stuff will get made and that'll go out Friday morning. There's no Saturday game. There's nothing on Saturday. I gotta like crank all the stuff out for Sunday on Saturday. However, I'm free. You know what I mean? We clock in at 2 p.m. Friday, Ryan. So you probably
Thursday. I'm telling you right now, Thursday night is going to be a great night for football, and it's going to be a great night to be us because I don't have to think about the team. Now I will not be buzzing, but we'll have a good time. Like I think it's going to be fun watching football, like Mahomes, Lamar, AFC Championship kind of rematch. Not having to watch Clay Holmes with 1 run in the 9th, like that'll be a little less stressful for me. I really hope that like he goes on a tear. Like I genuinely every single player we criticize, I hope they like play MVP caliber baseball.
Dude,
Alex Verdugo hits 500 home runs.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing that you guys were doing for a long time. You and Alex would go on a show, criticize somebody. They would come out the next day and like hit a home run.
Right. Like Anthony Rizzo, he went on an insane tear after we did an episode. Like he's not good anymore. Granted, he did cool off after, but like I want these guys to, I want to have the most freezing cold take about Clay Holmes of all time by saying we should shake it up at closer. I want to have I want Alex Verdugo to hit 500 the rest of the season when World Series MVP. I want us to just win games. You get what I'm saying? Like
you're the Yankee whisperer, dude.
Yeah, dude, I hope we just win the world. Like, I don't care. I don't like people. I see some people say, I hope we lose so Cashman and Boone get fired. Like, oh
no,
that's
I hate rooting against your own team. I literally think there's zero logic in people that say they want their team to lose. And like the constant pessimistic people, the people who like hate their team and hate the Yankees. I can't do that, man. I'm not going to root against my own team.
If the Yankees don't call up Jason Dominguez, guess what? I'm still going to want them to do:
Win.
win, and win. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
win.
I don't
I don't care
care
who's in a uniform. Go win ball games.
Right. We'll worry about who's like got to be hired, fired.
Well,
signed,
like
let
that.
go.
That's actually just a really bad statement. That's a really bad statement. I do care about who's in a uniform to an extent if they're a decent human being.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, but I don't think you mean it like to that level. I'm just saying.
I'm saying like I'm not going to hate somebody that plays on my team. Like that sucks.
I'm not going to use an on-field reason to say I want them to not help my team win. I think that's the best kind of way to put it.
No,
right? Like I don't know. Like I hope. I don't know. Like again, we'll worry about hire, fire, sign, re-sign, trade, this, and that when the time comes for it. The time's not September.
no.
Like we judge this team based on what they do in October. They could win 100 and they could set the wins record. If they don't go to the World Series, we'd have a bad taste in our mouth about that team.
Yeah.
If this team wins 89 games, which it would take, they would really have to stumble to win 89 games. And they win the World Series, it'll be my favorite Yankee team ever.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny because like we talk about like I've seen some people say like, you this is one of my least favorite. It was like, you don't know if this is your least favorite Yankee team. I thought the 21 Yankees had a little charm to me towards the end, and then they got knocked out with the Red Sox. So I really don't view that team favorably.
I love that team. And
I love the 2019 Yankees.
I love the 2019 Yankees. I love the 21 Yankees because that was my content creation year. That's like when I first started, was like covering that team and like why like I actually had a foot in the door as like a Yankees content creator was because of that team. So even though that team was so bad, they were so bad, man. Like when you look at the bases, they were awful. That like I will forever love that team because of that. So
I will also say this: I will always look at the 22 Yankees and just be so happy that there was never really a point where you were nervous during a game because there was nothing to play for after like July. Like this, it's exhausting to like check the standings every day. They got close. The Rays pulled within like 2 or 3 for a little bit, and the Yankees started going on a tear. And look, granted, that team was never going to beat Houston. Houston was so much better than they were.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like I loved not being stressed. Like I love not being like, oh crap, are they going to lose the division? It was never a worry. You're up like 50 million by July. Also, the Red Sox were bad that year, and they knocked us out the year prior. So it was really funny to like. I really don't like the Red Sox. Like they're 500 now. I'm really happy about that.
They're so inconsistent. Like they're probably the most inconsistent team on the planet. Like one year they're incredible, the next year they stink. Like I don't really get them.
They're weird, but like I hate them. So like I don't know. I never like pity them. I don't know. Like I really don't like them. But well, I think a nice little like is there sounds of the song player that we're thinking of for this week?
I think Rodon's a fun one. I mean, I think the start. I would like to give it to the 2 starters. I'd like to give it to Cole and Rodon because Cole and Rodon were awesome back-to-back nights, and that is a tandem that you could walk into a playoff series and really rely on. So I will give it to Cole and Rodon. I thought they showed a lot this week. Obviously, Hoko's okay. Seems like he's fine. Rodon, please just give me some more consistency, dude. Please come out and try to do something like that every day. If you do that, I'm A-okay. That's what I got for that. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out?
I want to give it to Jazz. He had before tonight's game. He had 4 straight multi-hit performances. He hit 500 coming into this game. 4 steals. He had 5th today, so 5 steals. I think he was like the only Yankee ever, like only Yankee in like the last like 50 or something like that, to have 2 games in a row with multiple steals and multiple hits. Yeah. He's having like, this is the most fun I've had with a trade deadline acquisition. I mean, I think, second most probably for you. I know Joey Gallo he's one of your favorite players of all time. That's your dog. That's your boy.
Again, 2021 Joey Gallo was big on that come up year when I was like finally like mini famous, and like my shtick was dogging on Joey Gallo.
I still remember that home run he hit against Seattle. That one that just like crept out.
The one he hit it and was like,
yeah, like literally in the like
looked at it.
500 million feet in the sky.
That was cool, man. I will say that was really cool. I do want to. So before we cap here, I do want to ask you. So we got Baltimore, man. We got Baltimore tonight, and then on Friday night. So I want to ask you about who you think is going to win these games beginning of this week, man. Tomorrow night, Ravens, Chiefs, and then Friday in Brazil, Packers, Eagles. I don't know how the color situation is going to work out over there, but what are we thinking, man? What are we thinking?
I'm going for the Chiefs Ravens game. I think the Ravens are going to win. I don't think that's going to be like the Chiefs aren't going to do anything this year. Legit, just like they lost to the Lions to open their season last year. The Ravens, I think the last time they played to open the season or early in the season, the Ravens also won that game. I just feel like the Ravens are going to go out there and just try to play their A game. The Ravens are hilariously good in the regular season anyways. Like, you want to talk postseason, that's different, but it's a regular season game. Lamar Jackson's a stud. This isn't like, Lamar Jackson, he'll never win a Super Bowl, that kind of thing. Like, I don't hate Lamar Jackson or anything like that. I actually like him. I love Patrick Mahomes. I know you don't. I'm sorry, Sam. But I get it. I know. I'm a Giants fan, so like
I don't like Patrick Mahomes because of how great he is. Like I can like there's a reason why. It's because he's so great.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's why I don't like Patrick Mahomes. But like I respect the hell out of Patrick Mahomes.
That's fair. I'm gonna pick the Ravens to win. Okay. Knowing that I don't know. Like picking against Mahomes feels weird, but he'll probably win, and I'll look like an idiot. And then the Friday one. I think the Packers can win this game, but I feel like the Eagles are going to. The Eagles, I really liked what they did in the draft to address their cornerback room, all that stuff. I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I don't like Jalen Hurts per se, but I don't like Philly. I despise Philadelphia and that disgusting, awful city, but I gotta give them credit. They're good. Like, I think they'll win. That's where I'm at there. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm with you on the Thursday game. So I am very into what I tell people my hobby is, right? When I'm not working, my hobby is sitting there and drafting my imaginary football team with my real life players and my imaginary football squad. And I go out there and I watch these little guys go out there and play on my imaginary football team and put up magical points, and it determines my mood for an entire week. So I'm rolling with Baltimore tomorrow. However, I think there's going to be a ton of points scored. I think Derrick Henry is going to be awesome and come out and be great. Like that addition for them, I think it's very understated how great that addition is. Gus Edwards had like 13 touchdowns last year for no reason, and Gus Edwards is a backup in LA now. I think just because of the goal line work. And I think that Derrick Henry has the potential to literally score 18 plus touchdowns. And I think it starts tomorrow. And like, I think the Chiefs are again in that Super Bowl hangover thing where like it just gets weird. But like, the Chiefs are going to win 13 games this year and probably be back in the bowl and it'll be nothing. But like, they lost last year. That was another thing I was going to say that you brought up, which was awesome. Like, I remember that game very vividly. They lost last year. I just think that they probably do it again, but like, I don't think it's still a fault of the Chiefs. I just think the Ravens are going to come out and punch them in the mouth kind of thing. Friday, I really dislike the Eagles. Like, I absolutely dislike the Eagles just because the area I'm from and like everybody around here is an Eagles fan. I am rocking with the Packers, but it's not because I hate the Eagles. I think that the Eagles secondary is awful. Like, it is legitimately garbage. And Jordan Love, who just got that real pretty contract and that real nice wide receiver room, I think Jordan Love carves up that secondary on Friday in Brazil. And I think there's going to be a ton of points scored in that game as well. That's Saquon's debut in the Eagles green. I know Alex and Anthony and you are going to freak out when that happens. And we'll probably be saying a lot of really nasty things, but we'll keep that in private because nobody likes that guy around here anymore. But I think the Packers take that one, a lot of points again, and then we go to the weekend slate with the Buffalo Bills, probably going to get beat down by the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, that's it for foosball talk, Sean.
I was gonna just say, like, while you were talking about the Ravens thing, I was like, oh, you reminded me that the Ravens are playing the Chiefs. I have to swap out my defense because I had the Ravens defense, and I'm swapping going with Atlanta.
Are you talking about the ESM Fantasy League, dog?
Yeah, I swapped out for Atlanta because they're playing Pittsburgh and
Dude,
Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson torches us, if Russell Wilson torches the Falcons, like, I'm just gonna be so mad. Like, I just won't be happy.
I'm trying to get Josh Allen off your hands like the worst way possible.
Are we gonna? Oh, do we negotiate a trade live? Not joking. No, absolutely not.
No.
So I have Josh Allen against Arizona, so I'm gonna need you guys to not lose.
Yeah,
McCaffrey's
and I have
questionable, which is concerning for me, but we'll see.
I have like the Kyler McBride stack in like
Yeah.
every single league, and like they're playing the Bills week 1. So like the Bills get dogged, I'm gonna be upset, but at the same time, all my fantasy teams are probably gonna win.
So ideal world, Bills win like 50-40. And Kyler
That's
Murray
beautiful. Oh, dude, I'm taking it all day. Trey McBride, 3 touchdowns.
Here's what we're looking for this weekend. Bills, I want that, obviously. Bills score 50 points. Cardinals score 40. Bills win week 1. Giants, let's get road to 1.1, baby. Road to first overall pick. Let's start it off strong this week, boys.
Who are they playing this week?
Dude, I don't know, but I hope we lose. So, I'll be honest with you. We were so bad. I know we had a whole segment. I hope you can't root for your team to lose. This is different. We suck. I want the first overall pick. We are playing
the Vikings. That is a real ugly
Sam Darnold country. Let's go, Sam Darnold.
That is that is the ugliest game.
Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones, man.
Is that
oh my god.
Sam Darnold's return to MetLife, bro?
Yeah, dog.
Yikes.
Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones is going to be the single worst football game that I've ever seen in my life.
Dude.
If we get cooked by Sam Darnold, like, first off, obviously I want the first overall pick, but like that's just confirmation this team needs to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, back up my quarterback bench. People don't even understand. I got Caleb and I got Bake. People wish they had that type of quarterback.
Big Bake, dude. Shout out today on FSB.
Big.
That was for you, son.
Yeah.
Dude, we're taking Big Bake.
Dude,
we're taking Big Bake.
That I'm not. I feel like there was. Was there a doubt that on your end that I wasn't going to use a Baker Mayfield prop line? Like,
no, because I was just waiting for you to send it.
I also feel like it was actually like a good value bet. Like, I was shocked. Like,
no, I thought it was great, and like so I know, like, so when I sent that, I knew what was coming in. Like, I knew who was going to pick who. Like, I knew Anthony was going to pick Mike Evans. I knew Alex was going to go Neighbors. Jackson's been up in the air just because, like, I don't know. Mine is like very like fantasy related because I have a lot of stock in Isaiah Pacheco, and I think he's going to be like an absolute bell cow for the Chiefs this year. So that's why I went with him. But yours was obvious. Like, I knew it was coming.
Yeah. No, Big Bake is people don't know the lore, but Baker Mayfield's my guy.
Yeah.
I have the headband still. I don't know where it is, but I have it.
You rock it if the Yankees win a series.
If the Yankees win a series, yes. I want to wear the douchebag glasses so bad. I want to wear them so bad. My girlfriend's not a fan, but like, you know, gotta make some.
Oh my god, dude! You know, before we go. All right. You know how, like, last time we were talking, and I was like, dude, like, I got this really cool win video. It's like we went. Yeah, there was a really cool win video for the Rangers.
Which one was? What was?
A really cool one. And it wasn't like anything like crazy. It was just like I found this really funny video of these Cowboys. Like, it was like these 3 guys just like absolutely killing it, dancing. And I was like, "This is gonna go."
Is it the one? Is it the one where people thought it was Matt Carpenter?
No,
that one would have been funny too.
See, that one would have been gas. I didn't even think about that one, dude. That video was awesome. I posted that on Fireside Yankees.
Yeah,
I posted that video on Fireside Yankees, dude. I will say, shout out to the one win video we posted this week. We bring the boom, baby.
Dude. Also,
we bring the boom. We bring the boom to you.
Yeah, I love that. I love. And
I love
Big
those AJ and Big Justice, man. Fireside Yankees mutuals on TikTok, dude. My guys.
Yeah, we're big boomer. We bring the boom. We're 5 out of 5 on the boom scale, right? Like,
yeah, the Yankees do not bring the boom.
No, absolutely not. Dude, they bring the doom. No, anyways, could you imagine if like Aaron Boone's like asked like, so Aaron, how'd you feel about Clay Holmes tonight? He brought the doom.
He was a doom.
He was
He was
two
a doom.
dooms.
Two dooms.
Um,
The Rangers were a boom. Clay Holmes is a doom.
could you imagine?
I'm gonna order a cameo from them and have them say. I could probably just get them to make it for me in general. To be honest, I could probably just text them and say, "Hey,
yeah.
could you guys like do this for?" They probably show down.
So yeah, no, I mean, like, dude, Michael K needs to do it. He needs to say, "Bring the boom" or something.
Somebody bring the boom. Yeah, bring
Yeah.
the boom. I think that would be really cool. Aaron Judge.
Had to write that down.
Okay.
On my whiteboard.
Yeah, like Aaron Judge brings the boom, like something like that. Like that would be really cool.
I can't,
You know what I mean?
I just have the like thought of like Aaron Boone's yelling it into like one of the reporter mics, because like quietly they talk. The reporter's like, so like, yeah, Aaron, how did you feel about, like, it's like very like professional. I can just imagine like, we brought the boom.
The boom. Yeah, the boom.
Yeah.
I need that to happen before their run goes up. You know, like James Ross had like a really crazy run.
Yeah.
I need the Costco guys run to stay in the window where the Yankees win a World Series.
Yeah.
Because my God, that would be insane.
If the Yankees win the World Series, like I've said this a lot, but like the Yankees would obviously I'd be the happiest person on planet Earth, but like, yeah, I don't know if like I don't know if like you guys would be able to find me for like a week after the parade. Like I
neither.
like that'd be. I told a buddy of mine today at school, I was like, yeah, like if the Yankees win the World Series, like you won't see me for a while, man.
No.
At least for a week. Like you won't know where I am.
My
family will know where I am.
We will take a much deserved vacation if the Yankees win the World Series.
Oh, like, yeah, I'm taking a trip to a country like Mexico or Canada, because
like that, like
I'm living it up.
That like 2 to 3 day window after they win the World Series for us per se, right?
Yeah,
we're so damn busy because like there's just shit going on, and like we have to get up north. Like you have to go down south. Like I have to get up north, and like we have to be there and like posting this and posting that. After that window, once they finally win a World Series in 2045, please God, I hope not.
Hell, be 21, older than 21. So hey,
I would hope so, just a little bit, man. Yeah, I just like after that, I feel like we are gonna take the greatest vacation and just like nothing for like a week. Like I would pause the operation, I'd pass it to somebody and be like, "You guys take care of the social media pages." Like this,
dude. I don't think I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't think I'd like have my phone, or like I maybe have my phone for like emergency purposes. I think I'd delete every social media app. Like I wouldn't just like live in a bubble for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so game.
Honestly, when if the Yankees get eliminated, I think a nice little like now that I think about it, a nice little like bubble, like just be in your own circle for a little bit. That would be very nice. That would be nice. That'd be nice. Like that would be.
You would spend 3 days dunking on people and then go back to it. Yeah.
No, dude. I would just like No, I will say the victory lap the Yankees in the World Series would be insane.
It would be awesome. That's what I'm saying. You come out of the bubble for like 3 days, you dunk on people on Twitter, and then you go back to being in the bubble. And then you live your life for a week.
Exactly. This got really existential kind of quickly.
Yeah, this is really long, and like we planned on like 40 minutes.
We were like, yeah, it's gonna be 34 minutes, but like it's because we're not dunking. I can't dunk on the team for now. I can't.
No,
just can't.
And this is the purpose of the Fireside Yankees show.
So you hear us say the boom
dialogue, and like we want you guys to listen to us, talk about the boom and the Costco guys and football and pretty much all the above. And we just want to bring some sort of realism to our channel and
bring the boom
and make it way more personable, because I talked to some of you guys in DMs and like I know you don't know what I sound like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is why we created the show, and I think it's doing a good job of serving its purpose.
Also, I will be clean shaving my entire face. I think we've lost 3 series. I haven't shaven 3 straight series. Whole face is gone. It's all gone mañana morning.
Oh, do you know about the mustache thing?
Yeah, that is a thing. The playoff stash.
The playoff stash is a thing, but we couldn't even do it last year. So it's literally been 2 years.
It's crazy to think about. Like in 22 was their first home playoff game since 2019. Like it too many like weird little like pockets of time without like Yankee Stadium playoff games. I don't like it. I don't like. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bell. All that stuff is free to do, and you'll know when we're posting. We've got tons of content on the YouTube page, but we don't just have a YouTube page. We have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter. I might have already said Twitter, but you get my point. Links are all in the description. At Fireside Yankees on Instagram, it's at fireside.yankees, but I promise if you put Fireside Yankees, our account will show up. And you guys can follow us on our personal Twitter accounts. Those are below us right there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everybody.
I love you all.
Perfect.